Yo, how's it going, everybody? Today we're going to be going over how to find the m and the b mathematically. Alright, so when do you even find the m and the b mathematically versus visually like we did in our last lesson? Well, it's simple. You know you have to find it visually, the m and the b, when they give you a graph. And the question, and they give you the graph with the line, and the question is, what is the linear equation? Or again, what if they just ask for the m, aka the slope, or just the b, aka the y-intercept of the line? That's how a question might look like. Mathematically, though, they'll give you points instead of a graph with a line, but the question will be the same. They could literally ask here, what is the linear equation of the following line that passes through the 2 points? That is an exact question from the GED, my friends. Trust me. I'll write this down if need be, so you could throw it in your list of questions from the GED, so you could have your little cheat sheet that you could study over. But yeah, this is a similar question. They'll ask it to you just like that. What is the following linear equation of the line that passes through the 2 points, right? Because this is technically a line. It's just in coordinates. It's just in point form, right? So, and again, if you win the lottery, they'll just ask for the slope when given the 2 points, or they'll ask for the y-intercept, which is a lot harder here. In graph world, it was easy to find the y-intercept. In math world, it's hard to find the y-intercept. So let's do this. How do we find the slope and the y-intercept when given points instead of a line on a graph? How do we do that? It's quite simple. So this is where your GED formula sheet comes into play. Pull up your GED formula sheet, which I told you was going to be your best friend from this point forward. And let's zoom in here. If we go down, we could see this little thing called slope of a line. That is the slope of a line formula right there. M equals, M we know means slope, right? So what is the slope? Slope equals y2 minus y1, x2 minus x1. All we got to do is use a simple little formula to find the slope mathematically. It's super straightforward, my friends. So this is what it is. I've already memorized that formula, so I'm going to write it down here. I'm not going to be referring to the formula sheet. I just showed you where it is, so you can refer to it. But just know it's always going to be there. You do not need to memorize this formula. I'm just a teacher, and this is what happens after doing this for so many years. You memorize formulas by accident. So I know my formula is y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1, right? This will give me my m. This will find me the answer of slope. That's what that m equals is there for. So what does this mean? What does this formula mean? What is y2 minus y1, x2 minus x1? Well, this is what it means. We know, because we learned this in the coordinates lesson, where you're supposed to master how to write and read points. We know points are always written x, y. X, y. Alright, we already know that. So here's the thing. Because this happens to be my first set of points, these are my firsts. Because this is physically my second set, those are my second ones. Those are my twos. Do you see what we're going to do next? Could you probably guess? Same thing we've been doing whenever we come across a formula. All we're going to do is dump in the numbers into its designated spot, and then we're going to have the calculator solve it for us. So now, what's the rule that we always come to learn? Whenever you go to substitute a letter from a formula, a letter with a number, with its value, you must always rewrite it with parentheses first. So all I got to do is rewrite this with parentheses in place of all those letters. And this is important, okay? I really want you to make this a priority step, is rewriting this like that. Because of the one reason why students always get the answer wrong here, and that's always the negative. So here's the thing. y2 minus y1. What is my y2? Well, my y2 happens to be the 2. Minus y1, which happens to be the 3. x2 minus x1. What's my x2? x2 is 0. And my x1 is negative 2. So I had to put negative 2 here. This is why I make students always do the parentheses, because they always, whenever it's a negative number and they don't put the parentheses, they just immediately think this minus sign is representing that negative. So they always put a positive 2 instead. And that'll be wrong when we go to put this in the calculator. You have to understand that x1 in this specific example is precisely a negative 2. So you're doing minus a negative 2 on the calculator, which is what we're going to do next. We're going to put this in the calculator. Sorry. All you need to do next, my friends, is once you got this whole laid out and everything's good, all we need to do is put it in the calculator exactly the way it is. So I see a fraction right off the bat, right? I see the top and then the bottom. So I'm going to do exactly the way it looks on my paper on the calculator. Scroll down, 0 minus a negative 2. Push enter, and I'm going to let the calculator solve the slope for me. The slope in this case is negative 1 over 2. Boom, bang, bosh. You found the slope mathematically. Congratulations. All you ever need is 2 points to find the slope mathematically. If they try to trick you on the GED test by giving you multiple points, 1, 2, 6, negative 8, negative 3, 9, whatever it is, right? If they give you multiple points and they ask you the question, what is the linear equation of the following line that passes through the following points, and they give you multiple points, don't get intimidated. All you have to do is locate, just like in the graph world, pick 2 points. So you're either going to do this one and that one. You could do that one and this one. You could do this one and that one. It doesn't matter. You just got to always pick 2 points and that's it. Okay. So moving on to finding the b, because the m we now know is negative 1 over 2, right? Here's the thing. How do you find the b mathematically? This one's challenging, so pay attention, okay? In order to find the b, you must first always find the slope. That's just a given. You must always find the slope first. In the graph world, it doesn't matter which one you technically solved first or looked at first. But in the mathematical world, when you are told to find the m and the b of a line that passes through these 2 points, you must find the slope first, always. Okay, so like in this case, we did find the slope. Now, what's our next step? Technically, that was step number 1. Well, step number 2 is use our best friend, our y equals mx plus b formula, our slope-intercept formula. We're going to take advantage of our best friend right now. What we're going to temporarily do is we're going to temporarily choose one of these points. Temporarily. If we know one of, let's say we chose this first one, boom. It doesn't matter which one you choose, by the way. Hint, hint, always go with the one that has lower numbers or no negatives. So in this case, 0 is a low number. Like, I might as well use that one. But for difficult purposes, I'm going to choose this one because let's say you happen to choose that one. You're going to get this first point, and you're going to get its x and put it in for x. You're going to get its y and put it in for y. You're going to then get your slope that you already came up with and put it in for your slope, m. We're going to fill in our formula, and then, yes, we're going to use our skills of multi-step equations to solve for b. This is what I mean. If I were to get my y and substitute it with 3 equals, my m was negative 1 over 2. I'm going to put negative 1 over 2. My x was, oh yeah, and you could put these in parentheses if you want. My x was, not if you want, you need to. My x is going to temporarily be negative 2 because I'm using that set of points, plus b. We temporarily took advantage of our best friend y equals mx plus b, and we filled in the x's and the y's and the m's for a reason, so that now we could use math to solve for b. So if you recall, you should be a master at this. You should be like, split the lines, nothing to do here. Anything to do here? Yep, I see a small little multiplication problem. Let's do it. Oh, but Neil, it's fractions. By the way, sometimes your x might be a fraction when you go to use that, right? Or your answer is going to come out fractions. Doesn't matter. Like I told you 100 billion times, you have a little thing called a calculator, okay? Fractions operations should be easy. All I have to do is -1 over, oopsie, -1 over 2. I could put times, or I could put exactly the way it looks. That means multiplication. So -1 over 2 times -2 gives me a whole number of 1, right? So now we bring everything else down, alrighty. 3 equals 1 plus b. What do I do now? To solve for b, you -1 to both sides, and the next thing you know, we get 2 equals b. You just found your b. Your b is 2. Did you see that? We used math to solve, specifically multi-step equation math, to solve for the b. And that's just by solving the m first, using that, putting it in for m, and using temporarily one of those sets in for y and x, right? Just make sure the only way you can mess that up is if you can't take this the x from this set and the y from that set and then use them accordingly. You can't do that. Whatever set you use, that's the x and y you need to use, okay? That's the only way you could get that wrong. Yeah, so how about we just do another one? Again, you could stop here and you could start working on the worksheet. All you'll be doing is exactly... Oh, wait, no. So we've come up with our m and our b. Remember, always write your final answer in y equals mx plus format. So in the worksheet, you got to make sure you write it out in that format. You have to do y equals -1 over 2x plus 2. This would be your final answer. This is what I want to see on the worksheet, okay? You're going to be given points. You're going to be asked to find the linear equation. This is the linear equation. Let's just do one more example. But again, you could stop here and go work on the worksheet. Okay, I wrote out an example here that we're going to do. The 2 points that are given is 1 and -5 and -2 and 2. The reason why I want to go over this example is because it's going to be fractions on fractions on fractions. So, what do we need to do here? We need to find the slope first, obviously. And how do we do that? We use our slope formula. So pull up your GED formula sheet if you don't remember the formula. And make sure you look over the, make sure you rewrite it with parentheses. So the original formula is like this. I'm just going to rewrite it like this. I know points are written xy, xy, because this is my first set and this is my second set. Those are my 1s and those are my 2s. So I'm going to follow the formula and put in the numbers in its designated spot. So my y2 minus y1, well, y2 minus y1, it's like that. x2 minus x1, like that. What do we do now? We use our trusty little calculator to solve, do all the hard part for us. Parentheses 2 minus parentheses -5 down -2 minus 1, and there you go, 7 over 3, specifically -7 over 3. That is my slope. So my slope is -7 over 3. Was that the answer? Yep, -7 over 3. So we found our slope. Like I said, it's going to come out a fraction at times. Now let's go find the b. What do we do to find the b? We temporarily take advantage of our y equals mx plus b formula, and we dump in our slope and one of our sets. In this case, I'm going to use this first one, the 1 and 5, 1 and -5, just because it has that 1. 1 is usually an easy number. 1 and 0 is usually an easy number to mess with. So I'm going to have, wherever I see an x, I'm going to put a y. Whenever I see a x, I'm going to put a 1. Wherever I see a y, I'm going to put a -5. So y equals mx plus b. I'm just going to put that there for reference. My y is going to be -5 equals, my slope was -7 over 3. My x is going to be the 1 plus b. Alrighty. So now we just use math. Split. I know I got to multiply these. You're always going to multiply in this specific case. I could already tell you this right off the bat. It's going to come out to 1. It's going to come out to the same, negative 7 over 3. But let's say you didn't know that. It doesn't matter. You have calculators to determine what your answers are going to be. 7 over 3 over times 1. Just like I said, it's going to be the same. And then we're just like, all right, I got to leave b by itself. How do I do that? Well, I got to do the opposite of the sign of this 7 over 3. The fraction should not be intimidating. Fractions are just numbers. Cancel that out. Plus 7 over 3. And now you got to do negative 5 plus 7 over 3, which shouldn't be intimidating because we have a calculator for the 1,000,000th time. Negative 5 plus 7 over 3. And next thing you know, I get negative 8 over 3 equals my b. Yep, it was that. So we found our b, we found our m. Our b over here, I'm going to put it up here so we can visually see it. And that's it, right? We found our m, we found our b. What are you going to do in the worksheet? You're just going to write it out in its final linear equation, which looks like this. Boom, boom, boom. I did that fast just because, you know, save on time, but also to show you how you should do it on these type of questions. So hopefully this was helpful. Make sure you reach out to me if you're having any difficulties on Zoom. You could send me a message so we could make an appointment on Zoom to meet up, or just send me a text or whatever. So yeah, see you on the next one.